Welcome to the official launch of the Word of Mouth podcast. The episodes that were on before, I put them out there to really just get a beta test and an understanding of how this would perform online, if it would get support, if people would share, reshare, and if the message would grow. And in the little bit of time that I had the episodes out there, exactly that happened. I've received a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, and a lot of positive feedback about how the stories of, alcohol and addiction and the personality of, special operators or, people who are apt to break the law. Like, I would even imagine, like, cops, firefighters, first responders, people that have these high-risk jobs, really, people with high-risk jobs, because it takes a bold person to do jobs like that, right? And so I think there's a certain personality type that does well in those jobs, and we're attracted to those jobs because when normal people look at a job like that, whether it's fire trucks or cops pulling up on scene or a military assault on a ship or a building, when we see stuff like that, it's intoxicating for us, right? But when normal people see it, it looks cool, right? It looks cool. They appreciate it, and they're proud to be an American, and they support the troops, and they love it, right? And that's great. That's awesome. There's some people that look at that, and it sweeps them off their feet, like the first line of cocaine I ever did, right? It's just like, oh, right? And because I'm an addict, I will always be an addict. I've been an addict since I was born. Right? My mom told me that she's the only kid she ever met and put my pants on 2 legs at a time. She's like, you just put both feet, you jump up in the air, pull your pants up, button them on the way down, and off you go, right? Like, you ran out of my womb and you never looked back. When you have that type of personality, you're attracted to jobs like that, right? Special operations, danger. We love it, right? We've been addicted to everything since we were kids. If you go back and think about it, I'm addicted to playing Nintendo, right? Addicted to playing outside, skipping rocks, right? And then as more things came along in life, it's like, oh, here's marijuana. It's like, oh, now I'm addicted to weed, right? And then we just get better and better at it, right? It's like, first it's like smoking with a little can that you poked a hole in, and then you graduate to joints and bowls and blunts and all this stuff, and then alcohol comes, and or cocaine, whatever. But we're at the core of just an addict. I'm addicted to everything, and I'm learning now in life as I look back at all my struggles with substance abuse and things that I'll always be an addict, but I can be addicted to positive things, right? And that's what you do for an addict. I don't think there's a doctor in the world that can really cure an addict. I think what you can do is just empathize with the addict, right? Understand that they're always going to be an addict. You can't fix that about them, but just find something that they're passionate about that's positive and get them addicted to that. Because if you can harness an addict's energy and take what they put towards feeding their addiction, it's like a nuclear powered engine, right? And so if you can snap it from the bad stuff and point it all towards good stuff, you have a nuclear powered engine for good. And that is a weapon. That is a force to be reckoned with. And that's what high risk elite jobs train us to do as an occupation, right? And I'm just trying to offer a way that I went about reframing my focus to be successful in alcohol and addiction recovery, right? I'm not recovered from alcohol or addiction. I never will be, right? But I go to AA, and I have ways of staying off alcohol, and I've been doing that for a while, right? And then my way of dealing with my addiction is doing positive stuff, like writing chapters of my book and recording podcasts and helping people, going to I volunteer and I go on Wednesday nights to the Navy hospital and talk to the inpatient people, and that's what I do, right? So it's a way of taking my addiction power, my nuclear engine of fuel, and putting it towards something good, to get something to get excited about. Hearing back from people that this helped or that, and them calling you and asking for advice, and seeing them having little successes in their lives early on when they first get off the sauce, and then it just continues to grow and grow, right? And they pay it forward by helping others. That's how it works. But sometimes some of us have hard heads, man, and it takes a huge beating or multiple beatings to get us to listen. And then I thought, one of the things that stood out to me, and I spent 22 years in the Navy, 20 of those were in special operations. 2 of them were on a ship, and that ship was my prison, because I didn't sign up to be on a ship stripping and waxing floors and painting, right? But because I couldn't behave in the special operations community, because I kept getting in trouble with alcohol and off the clock behavior because of bad choices, they sent me to the ship for 2 years to learn my lesson. And boy, did I, man. Shoot, I could have been 2 days on that ship and I'd have been fine. But 2 years was a long time. And for the young kids out there listening that have been knocked down or have got in trouble, like, it's okay. Like, you can work your way back up. The first thing you got to do is you got to break the bad addiction of the bad stuff, right? Whatever that bad stuff is in your life. I have a motto called "Wake up, do good stuff, go to bed," right? So, alcohol, drugs, that's not good stuff. So I don't do that. I don't do that stuff anymore. And then the next thing you got to do is figure out what you want to point your passion towards. It could be martial arts, it could be helping veterans, it could be helping homeless people, special education, special needs, like something good that you believe in, right? If you need help coming up with ideas, like, reach out to me. I'll help you brainstorm, come up with something that you're passionate about, that drives your core, so that way when you point that nuclear engine towards it, it's full steam ahead, right? You don't need to do somebody else's passion. Like, maybe if your passions are in alignment with each other, great. Then do somebody else's passion. But you have to do some deep diving, man. And the way I looked at getting sober, there was a lot of things that got me sober, and you'll hear me talk about it in this next episode called Alcohol, the Heavyweight Champion of the World. And what I've decided to do was pull all the episodes down and upload this introduction, and then provide some context ahead of the episode, so you know where I was at in life and what the message means, the analogy, and then just kind of tell this as a life story, because people dig it, right? So I've got a lot of feedback, and here we go. Just gonna send it, right? So Alcohol, the Heavyweight Champion of the World, is my way of making it simple for me not to drink, right? I realize that alcohol is the king, right? It's been around for centuries, going to be around for centuries, and I keep getting in the ring with him, which every time I take a drink, that's me getting in the ring, and I keep getting knocked out. And you'll hear me go into more detail about it in the story, but at the end, the realization was, if I don't take the first drink, then I'm not in the ring. And if I'm not in the ring, then I can't get knocked out. And it's that simple, right? And when you're first trying to get over drugs or alcohol, you need things to be simple, right? You need as simple as can be, right? Aim small, miss small. Wake up, do good stuff, go to bed. Don't get in the ring. Those little things, those little mantras, those little mottos can really help a person early on, when they're first trying to get off of whatever their substance is. So this is a good way for you to keep it simple. You can't get knocked out if you don't get in the ring. And I'll tell you, life outside the ring is pretty damn good, man. It was just hard for me because I grew up in a competitive home. I grew up with champions. My mom was a champion weightlifter. She was on the American Gladiators. My stepdad was a champion weightlifter, a cop, a football player. Me and my brothers and I were all in sports. I grew up a champion, and I never give up on a fight. I'll fight to the death, and I was ready to fight alcohol to the death. But the thing is, he would have won just like he's won for centuries. So I had to realize that the only way to win is to not play. So I hope you enjoy alcohol, the heavyweight champion of the world.